Welcome to the Pish Tosh Podcast with Emma Red March Rose.
Thank you for listening as I share my interviews with students of the performing arts.
Hey, you want to hear some facts about a group or a team or some one-man acts? Things like Leprechaun, cereal, all kinds of other weekly new material, how gingers are inferior, and strategies to fix your brain's interior. Things like pogo sticks, politics, heretics, lucky tricks, topic picks, and ass kicks. An awkward middle name guessing game. Enjoy the show, I'm glad you came. We're striving, conniving, surviving, and high-fiving. We're talking wins and losses. We're feeling like we're bosses. Better buckle up, be cautious, because this might just make you feel solace, or thoughtless, or flawless, or nauseous. A relief for the typecast, a remedy for the overcast, a reward for the steadfast. This is the Pish Tosh Podcast.
Emma and Corey team during the quarantine.
If you can believe it or not, today's guest is another homeschooled stand-up comedian, female in her 20s who is also from North Carolina. And that's where she still is. So I'm so excited that we got to do a Zoom interview here. And I hope you guys enjoy it so much. Here is Mo Yarboro. Enjoy.
Excited. Okay. For our listeners, I am here with Mo Yarboro. I'm just kidding. I was asking myself before we started this podcast, Emma, could we please not say I'm just kidding? Can we please not? And I didn't even make it through the introduction.
Oh, no.
Something has frightened you, I could tell from our video, but our listeners don't know. What for our listeners have frightened you, Mo?
Well, you're chiming in to North Carolina, which is not the windy city, but right now it is windy in my sunroom, and so the wind just slammed my door shut. So,
yeah,
yeah,
wind can be about a bitch.
Yeah, it's a manifestation. So, anyway, I think that like the wind from the Zoom call blew the door shut.
Yes, I'm glad you feel it. I didn't know it would happen that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how energy transfers, right?
I think so too.
Yeah, I think that's
energy from you, just from seeing your face. It's so good to see you.
Go to the window. Is it sunny out?
No.
Probably is. Damn it. Okay.
There's a train, actually. I could show you.
Well, that's also me manifesting my loud, obnoxious energy towards you.
I like it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Why don't we talk about like the first time we met?
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Ooh, we got an assertive woman. Mo Yarboro. Ooh, performer, stand-up comedian, writer. I'm going to say writer. We're all kind of writers, even if we don't write it down. Do you write your stand-up, or do you usually just say it? See what happens.
My stand-up? I usually just jot a bunch of things down before I get on stage and then just vaguely read them, I guess. I don't know. I don't really like write things. I don't know. Nothing in my life is very organized, so.
You're so right.
Yeah. A list maker. You could maybe not call me a writer. Call me like a list maker.
Yes. Also, I don't know why I said you're so right about your organized. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to think. You know how they say, you should listen not to reply, but you should listen to, take it in what they're saying. I've been getting really good at that, but then it's causing me to just have like such a bullshit reply when someone's done talking. I'm like hanging on every word, and I'm like, wait, what do I say now? I don't have anything to say now, so I just say bullshit. I'm like, sweet. I'm like, well, okay, that. Fuck. But I'm listening.
Which is like doing the opposite of like what you're trying to do is like seem engaged. So it just seems like you're just totally tuned out. Yeah, no, I get that.
Complete disconnect. I'm confused. But I like what you said there. You said, why don't we talk about the first time that we met? And I was like immediately divulged because I was like, let me try to remember what that was. And I don't remember still.
I don't remember either. I think it may have been, I want to say that it may have been at that stand-up showcase in Cornelius. Does that sound familiar? The first one at
or Brick Road?
That brewery.
Oh, with the dogs.
Yeah, I think so.
Brewery. I feel like we'll find the name. D9? That sounds right.
D9, yeah, D9 Brewing. Yeah, I think that's when I first met you, because I don't think I had met you at Lost and Found yet.
No, I don't think so. I think it was D9. I think you're right. That was awesome. And I was like, she's a woman who had been homeschooled and who is doing comedy? What? And it's like a unicorn. And I was like, I also could be a unicorn if I grew some ovaries. And I have.
You can tell when a girl's homeschooled by the attention they pay to their hair. You know what I mean? Like, I pay like no attention to my hair. Like, I haven't probably brushed it or straightened it or like colored it or conditioned it or really done anything appearance wise to my hair. And I think that's how you can really spot them. You're like, that girl.
You see these back streaks?
Nice. Are those extensions?
No, they were not intentional. No,
how did that happen? Just like slipped on some Sharpies?
Yeah. I just haven't watched it. No, I'm just
kidding. Yeah. I actually ran out of toilet paper and I've been using it.
That's right. That's why I keep it so long and luxurious.
You're so flexible. Holy shit.
Oh, God. I'm so glad, listeners, that you're not viewers right now. Whew. I've thought that before. They're dodging a bullet. Emma's at home and she is wearing it loose and smelling like a caboose. What's your first experience with performing, young Mo?
So I have been going to a place in my hometown called High Rock Outfitters for, it'll be 10 years like next year. Actually probably 10 years. I've been going there since I was in high school. It's like a bar and music venue, and I've always been friends with like the owners. And, I just go up there on the weekends and stay up there late. They never served me alcohol until I was 21. So no worries there. But, I used to, in the summers when I'd be home from college, I would go up there and hang out with my friends. And when it would get really late, cause I wasn't drinking at the time. I would just be up with a bunch of drunk people in this bar. And we would play this game called Two Topics. And there was a guy there named Mike Jones who would play just a random riff on the guitar. And it would just be like something simple. And I would have the people in the audience, which was a great audience because they were hammered. And I would say, give me two topics. And so I would get those two topics, and then Mike would play like a random riff, and then I would just make up some stupid, ridiculous song about those two topics. And
nice.
I did that for years. I did that for years up there, like at like 1 a.m., like to 8 people or whatever. Like, there'd be, 6 people in the entire bar, and I'd just be like making up these dumb songs to like 2 topics. And so from there, I kind of like sparked me to want to do stand up. And then, once you start, you're like, this is such a rush.
Oh, absolutely. It's very addictive. That's how I kind of look at it these days. It's like so many comedians right now are not getting their fix.
Oh my God, yeah.
Real.
Oh.
Like, come on, who are we performing for? My boyfriend is getting sick of this shit. He's got to be. He's so nice, but there's only so much dancing I can do for him. And so, none of it's good.
It just really reinforces like how much like just positive reinforcement attention I need.
Yeah, me too. That we need, yeah.
It's like I gotta sustain this ego.
That's right. Stroke it.
Yeah. So like it gets bad whenever you're just like at the gas station, like just desperately trying to get this miserable essential worker to laugh at something you say.
Yeah.
Be like,
please leave. If I laugh, will you walk away? And I'm like, maybe, laugh harder. Oh, it's beautiful though. For our listeners, it's beautiful. I have no way to describe it. It's like a weird snake pattern. What's it called? A palm of some sort?
It's called a Monstera Deliciosa.
Oh, that's perfect.
I think.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I sure hope I get trolled on the pronunciation.
Heck yeah. I would be honored for anyone to get trolled on my show.
Yes. Seriously, like I want to get trolled so bad. Anyway, sorry. I think I just like got like lady hard for a second thinking about getting trolled.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun though. Like I think that's you know what, Emma? You know how I'm going to gratify this internal need
How's that?
to get laughs?
Yes.
I'm gonna start trolling my relatives.
Ooh.
I'm about to start trolling my relatives for real.
Yes. Grandma, Grandpa, you about to get trolled.
Grandma number 1, she dead. Grandma number 2, she also dead. I just got a grandpa because my other grandpa ran away. These are not jokes. But I could totally troll my grandma. I mean, not really. She's dead, but the troller. No.
I also have no grandparents.
Yeah, none of them. They're not around.
We got excited though. I think that's what counts. There's not a lot.
No, but I do have some older aunts. You know, I have like some older aunts, and like my family's just incredibly conservative, but like to like a very like almost like confusing approach. Do you ever like find people that like have very contrasting political beliefs to their person?
Yeah, you're like, what does motivate you?
Well, it's like, you know, in person, you know them as this like really kind, loving individual who cares about you a lot and is always very kind to you and seems to treat their family well. And then like on Facebook, they're like, I hate everything that's not me, you know? And you're like, okay.
You see how you're coming off?
Yeah, it just seems kind of opposite. It's really not how you are, but okay.
Self-preservation piece. Like maybe they're trying to weed people out. Maybe they're trying to look tough.
I don't know. I mean, it's just like I feel like the narrative online is just like, you can't shut me up. I'm gonna do what I want. If you don't, that means you hate America. And it's like, I guess I don't know. Like, is there a middle ground? No. Do you see that on your like Facebook feed and like social media?
I do. I just see it from people from North Carolina. Not the people, but some people. You know. It happens.
Yeah. No, the people of North Carolina are actually all actively probably taking a lot of Facebook, doing a lot of Facebook politicizing. I don't know. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I feel like fear drives so much of people's behavior right now because I feel like so many people are in like fight or flight mode because of this like complete uncertainty of the whole situation. So it's like, you can't really trust people acting out of fear, and we can't really blame people acting out of fear either. I feel like it's such a weird place we're all in. Oh, man.
But I think, here's the thing, though, is fear is derived from uncertainty. Like, that's where fear comes from, you know? Fear is derived from not knowing the reality of what's going on. And I think the people that are acting in fear aren't educating themselves, you know? Like, I know for myself, like, just use protection and be cautious and, like, you know, spend time in small circles and, like, just, you know, be smart about how you do things. And no one's safe, and we're all in the same boat.
Right.
But don't act out in a way that, like, is marginalizing other people because you feel like you can't understand the situation. So I don't know. I can't really like empathize with people that are acting out of fear because the information's there and some of it's confusing, sure, but just like stay home, wear a mask if you go out, wear gloves, limit interactions, stay 6 feet apart. Like that's not a lot to know, you know, like that's not a lot to research or understand. Just deal with it. It's 3 fucking months of your life.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. This isn't years or generations worth of trauma that we're enduring right now. This is not even a year.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I want to go live my life as normal. Like, who doesn't? Who doesn't? There's not a single person that's like, yep, let's keep it this way forever because it sure feels great. Like, no. Like, I just think there's a lot of individuals out there. I love how this became like political, but
also I love how your hair just got like all, oof. Yeah, low and loose, full of juice. There you go.
It's TP hair.
TP.
But TP hair. But no, I just find it just eye-opening, maybe just like eye-opening in a different dimension of like that there's just people out here that just, I don't know, like they just can't look past themselves. I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm done with it.
No, I agree with you. I feel like
so I work full-time as a cider maker, and then my like part-time. What's that?
That's so cool. A cider maker too. Yeah. I
just turn apple juice into alcohol. So yeah, I'm here to cure all your problems. But no, there's definitely been a huge downturn in cider making, which is understandable because, a majority of our product goes to restaurants and bars, and restaurants and bars aren't open right now. But I will have to say that, like, I'm very pleasantly surprised and grateful that there's been a lot of consumers coming out and supporting small businesses and doing, pickup and delivery options and really still supporting like what we're doing. So it's very encouraging from that perspective to see that there's still a lot of people out there that are, socially distancing and being respectful of everyone else, but still want to make sure that like the places they love are going to be there when they get back.
Right. That's for everyone.
And I will have to say too, like, aside from controversy, like I have like 2 part-time jobs, and one got kind of upticked because everyone's at home. And so I qualify leads for a software company, and essentially like everyone's at home, everyone's interested. So a lot more people are responding, and my job has become a lot easier in that standpoint. But I think that people like are really underestimating this time. I don't know. Like for me, I've been able to like work in my yard some. I've been like able to like pursue some hobbies of painting and stuff. So like, and I've been fine financially. I mean, I just can't spend money on things, and there's been enough like insurgents from like, the government, weirdly enough, to it's, I understand for some people it's not ideal, but I do feel like people are being taken care of that need to be. So I don't know. I've seen a lot of positives from it. I'm just really tired of people, especially in this phase, just acting so impatient.
Yeah, absolutely. Patience is key. It's really important, for sure. I've actually started meditating recently, trying to learn patience a little bit easier myself. Because it's like I've always thought of myself as a patient person, but just because I can be patient doesn't mean I like can do it comfortably, if that makes sense. And I never cared about that before, and I'm like, I can make this a lot easier for myself.
No, absolutely. I'm the most impatient person on the planet.
Hard.
Gosh.
I will talk a little bit about kids, like having kids or whatever. It's like patience with kids is so important.
Dude, I'll have to quote my dad on this, but like he spent a lot of his time like just practicing discipline in different ways. And so like patience is one of those things that like you say, oh, I don't have a lot of patience, but at some point, you just have to practice it and envelop that, I guess. So good for you. Good for you for pursuing those things.
Yeah.
For you for having some challenges in your life. Because I have like none right now. Like I'm not like challenging myself to be better at all. I'm like, I'm terrible and I love it.
When was the last time you did any comedy? Wrote it or performed any comedy since last year?
No, actually I was doing it a good amount up until the like quarantine happened.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So it was super fun. It's been super fun. I was telling you earlier, it's kind of like a bummer too, because like since we've been in quarantine, there's just been a lot of like jokes written that I can't just like get out.
Yeah. I know.
Has anybody ever told you how amazing you would look with a mullet?
You know, I've been thinking that a lot lately, Mo. I can't believe you would say that. I have to
Yeah.
if you said that because I've been thinking the same. I love you.
There's like a certain angle where like you kind of look like you have a mullet and it looks so good.
Yes, I've been thinking the same thing. Thank you. That was very validating.
Yeah.
It feels good.
You would just look so fucking good with a mullet. Anyway, sorry.
That you just made my day. I don't even know what else we could talk about now. We should just end it with that. Jesus. No. Have you heard of anything coming up as far as stand-up comedy coming back into play, or do you think that's still a long ways out?
So the governor of North Carolina issued like a phase 1 unphasing. I don't know what it means, but essentially it just means like you can get stuff from the Hobby Lobby or something. I don't know. Like, I think that there's like a certain phase of things that are allowed to open. I don't know. And then there's a second phase that I think includes like restaurants and bars. And so I think that that's like where comedy and like open mics and stuff would probably fall. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to phase 2 for you getting back into some comedy if you're down for that.
Yeah. What's kind of the gist in Chicago as far as like?
Ooh, I know we're not getting close to phase 2 until at least after May 30th is our stay-at-home order right now.
Right. Golly gee. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
we're getting there.
be strong. Be strong. Be strong.
One day at a time. It has been a good time overall. Stressful, but it's been a time of learning. Hey, Mo?
Hey.
Can I guess your middle name?
You guess it?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Nice. Is it? I feel like I should know this because I feel like there's a bit about it.
So Mo is part of my middle name.
Moses?
Close. It is biblical. But it is not a person.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. Excuse me. It's not a person. Mozzarella.
Good one. I wish my name was Mozzarella.
Me too. I love mozzarella. I'm not even joking. I'm like, let's get real mozzarella. It's delicious.
Oh my gosh. What about goat cheese though?
Oh, hell yeah. On some pita?
Oh man.
Yep.
Just on a cracker with pepper jelly. Golly gee. M-O-R. It's 3 syllables.
Moriarty. Mordor.
Mordor. Yeah. Mordor Yarboro.
Mordor Yarboro?
Mordor Yarboro.
I bet the listeners are like, it's obviously this. M-O-R?
M-O-R.
How about one more?
One more letter?
Yeah.
I.
Mori. What?
3 syllables.
I'm bad at this.
3 syllables. Moriarty. You got it. Moriarty.
It's Moriarty? Oh my
No.
Oh my god. Okay, just tell me. I am in no mood. I'm just kidding. I'm just really bad at this right now.
Mariah.
Duh. Oh, that is embarrassing.
You know, as homeschool kids have to have like a really biblical name for no reason.
Yes. Nathan, Rebecca. Wait.
Charis Moriah.
Taryn Moriah?
Charis.
Charis Moriah?
Yeah. How gay is that?
I like it. It's pretty. Have you always gone by Mo?
Unfortunately, yeah. Like, I thought that maybe, like, I don't know. I thought that maybe I could grow out of it in college, but I just ran into this horrible disposition where I would go to a party and I would be like, I'm Charis, I'm fucking Charis, you know? And then I would go around and I would introduce myself and I'm like, hey, my name's Charis, blah, blah, blah. And then I would like get kind of tipsy and then forget that I'd introduced myself as Charis initially. And then I would just like auto revert back to like Mo, right? And I was like, hey, I'm Mo. And then I would be talking to the person I'd introduced myself as Charis, and then the person I introduced myself as Mo as. And then I'd be like, what's up, guys? And they're like, what's up, Charis? And they're like, what's up, Mo? And they're like, I thought your name was Charis. And I'd be like, it is. And like, I thought your name was Mo. And I was like, it is. And then I'd be like, I'm not insane. And so I just had to just lean into it.
I agree. Alrighty. Well, this has been amazing. Thanks so much for doing this podcast. It's so nice to check in. This is part of the Quarantine Comedian series of the Quarantine podcast on the Pish Tosh Podcast. Ta-da! She's voguing. Vogue, 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 vogue. Well, goodbye, Mo. Goodbye, Mo Yarboro. I can't wait to hear you're doing. I can't wait to see you doing stand up next time in North Carolina. How about it?
I was just telling you I was gonna have a lot of fart jokes, but yeah, sounds great. I'll talk to you soon, baboon.
Bye.
Emma and Corey team during the quarantine.
And now it's time for
the reference section and correction section.
Yes. Very nice. Alrighty. Mo and I had a lovely conversation. The first time we met was at D9 Brewing in Cornelius, North Carolina, and it was wonderful. It's a really neat brewery and bar there that allows pets. It's very pet friendly. I love that about it. We talked a lot about North Carolina and conservatives and everything, but North Carolina has voted Republican for the last 9 out of the 10 last presidential elections, so we're just kind of representing the true population there. I mean, I know there's a lot of exceptions to the rule, of course, and everybody is unique. Anyway, we were talking about the current situation, the pandemic, and we were kind of saying things along the lines of that this isn't going to produce years of trauma, that this is just a few months. But I feel like a caveat to that is that we really don't know, and that's the bottom line, what exactly this is going to entail. We're just at the start of it, but I like the idea of trying to think positively and trying to think productively in this time of uncertainty. Speaking of uncertainty, we mentioned in the podcast that uncertainty, that fear is derived from uncertainty, and I feel like that's true in one aspect, but I feel like there's so much more to like unpack there. And I was wondering if you have any thoughts on that, Corey?
Ooh, man, what a topic.
I know.
There were scholars that, there's books written about this.
That's right.
There's one I bought. I'm really good at buying books and never reading them.
Oh, great.
And one of them's called The Gift of Fear.
Nice.
I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Because you didn't read it?
It's on my bookshelf, though.
Nice. We'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah. Maybe I was afraid to read it.
A great man once said that fear in itself can tear you down and like you were never enough.
Yeah, and I think that experience of fear kind of borders on the level of shame as far as what you just said there. Like, that's just what it sounded like.
Right. I feel like it all depends on the context.
Well, because if I'm afraid of something and my worth is tied up into it, then that's probably shame. And so they're close. Like, they're related with each other. I mean, the pure fear experience, let's say, for example, a gun gets fired or there's a big explosion a little bit away, like, I'm gonna duck just out of natural reaction, and like, I guess that fits as fear, right? So there's this survival instinct for it.
Right.
And I think I could go on for a while about this, and just what's coming to mind right now with fear is that, it's this kind of missing out type of thing. It's this, you know, I think uncertainty
right
fits in with it.
Yeah.
I don't know how something is going to be received by myself or the world before I do something and it stops me from doing it. That could just be purely out of fear.
Right.
And that fear can really serve a purpose for me to protect myself and to not get hurt. And I learned fear pretty early. And what I found now is as I become afraid, when I maybe got something important to say and I don't want to say it, I realize that's the door. Like the fear is my door, where it's like, this is one to step through. And I'm going to actually be vulnerable in sharing like the thing, and maybe even preface it with, I don't want to share this. And this is tough for me to say. And just some vulnerability there, because you just don't know how things will be received. And sometimes I don't know how I'll receive them myself. There's something that might be unsettled within me.
Absolutely.
And I might be projecting onto the situation that others are going to react what happened in my childhood to me when I would do something like that, how I was reacted to. So I project all of those fears onto everyone else when they might just purely want to hear exactly what I have to say, and that might be the perfect thing to throw out there.
Or they're feeling the exact same way. Oh, and Judy is here.
Yeah.
Just joined the party.
She's not afraid to be loud.
Nope, she's using her voice. She's a strong, independent female dog. She's a bitch.
Yeah.
Speaking of bitches, I've been watching RuPaul's Drag Race and I love it so much. Sorry, it's my guilty pleasure right now. I think I watched the entire first season in one day yesterday. I needed it. I really needed it. It was a good time.
Yeah. Did you need it?
Yes, I needed it, Corey. So, Monstera delicioso is the way that plant name is pronounced. So if you guys want to troll Mo, you're going to have to find another reason, but I highly suggest that you do. She got so excited. You guys heard it. That's awesome. I hope you do get trolled, Mo. I hope so.
Time to put you on the spot.
Me?
Yeah.
What?
Tell me about your experience with fear.
Oh my God. I have a lot of fear these days. I have so much fear. And I have fear for everyone else. I have fear for the people that have businesses, and I have a fear for the people that have children that are out of school, and I fear for the people that have health issues. I fear for my family that's so far away, for my friends that feel so far away because I can't visit them like I used to be able to. Even some are just maybe less than 100 miles away, and I can't just pop over and see my cousins or my friends. I have a lot of fear about what I can't control. It's hard to let that go.
So is it safe to say that fear is similar to like that racing mind type of thing?
Yeah, and obsessive thoughts,
Yeah.
obsessive thinking. It's that stinking thinking, as they say in my AA meetings when I used to be able to go. I can't wait to get back to AA. I'm sure there's virtual meetings. Definitely need to look into those. Maybe by next episode, Emma. Give myself some homework there, listeners. Y'all keep me accountable.
Yeah.
It's important.
So I think yeah, fear, like up in our heads we can come up with a million thoughts on like why something is no good to do.
Right.
And then we can be completely crippled, with this analysis paralysis.
Right. Just focused on the risks.
Yeah. Or we could just act in a kind of sadistic fashion, be like, fuck it, here we go.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a balance.
No, there never is.
Between
not.
I'm
just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Between that I have all this fear and I don't do anything to, I don't listen to my fear and fuck it, I'm just going to do anything I want to do.
Right.
And maybe there's some good healthy balance in there where it's like,
That sounds good. Fuck it, I'm going to do what I want to do as long as it doesn't negatively affect everyone else.
yeah, there can be some
And you can just
caring.
make those decisions for yourself. You can say, this is not really affecting you in a way. Like,
Well, at some point I can care for myself and
Right.
realize that by listening to this fear, I am moving no further forward.
Right.
And that the only option for me as I grow up, is to do the uncomfortable thing
yeah, absolutely.
and connect with people about it. I'm not in this on my own.
Yeah, absolutely. None of us are. And that's the takeaway of all of this. Even though we're far apart geographically, even though we're all at home, we're all going through a very similar thing globally, and that's never happened before.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting time of disconnection and connection. An interesting time. Also, speaking of kind of checking ourselves and self-awareness and everything, I want to apologize for commenting on Mo's hair when she was talking about like important political matters on this podcast. I heard it while I was reviewing things, and I did not love that. That's happened to me in my life where I feel like I'll be talking about something important and the response has to do with my hair or something arbitrary like that, and I don't think it was the worst thing in the world, but I'm just gonna apologize for it here. I just want to check myself. I didn't love that. I would do it differently if I could do it over.
And it's an experience that you know,
I've grown from.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pish Tosh Podcast. I've learned again. Also, my last topic for today, Corey, if you're interested in discussing it with me, is meditation. I have been meditating on a very regular basis. And I would hope that you would meditate with me later today if you have time.
Yeah, because you just brought that up in front of everyone.
That's right, listeners. You helped me again.
We've meditated.
It's symbiotic. Yeah, we've meditated together before.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy it, actually.
And
it
not
takes
like
me a minute to enjoy it. Before, once.
It's been like a few days.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
at least twice together.
I think twice together, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've meditated. No, I'm just kidding. A few more times.
You're definitely more on it.
It sucks though. It's getting easier though. It really is. It's like I have a similar experience every time. It's almost like exercising where I kind of try to talk myself out of it a million times, and then if I can actually get myself to do it, I love it. And it helps me. It makes me feel better on the inside and out.
And I could ask you, how does fear and meditation connect in your life?
Look at that. The meditation helps with the obsessive thinking. It helps with the racing thoughts. The meditation helps with the fear because, as my therapist said, there's only power in the present moment, so worrying about the past or the future is useless, and I'm taking that with me whenever I meditate. And so that makes me feel a little bit empowered at the end of a good meditation session. I've been using Insight Timer, which can be found in the App Store. It's great. I think I've mentioned that, but there we are. I mentioned it again. Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah, I like the connecting with my breath. I enjoy that. Yeah. Divorcing myself from my thoughts, and it's really just a good time to check in with me, and in this physical form, like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah. And
just divorcing myself from all of these racing thoughts that are just like, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so fear is an interesting experience. And the one thing you asked about it, and I told you I could go on forever. I also think there's something where it's connected, or I'm just going to say it. I have an issue with the word anxiety, or I have anxiety, or and I guess I don't object to it. I just like to break things down. So my mathematical mind,
specificity.
Yeah, I like to break it down into the subcomponents of that.
Yes.
So I could be experiencing anxiety, but how I would say that is, in a certain experience of, okay, I'm going to jump on stage for the first time at Second City and do an improv set in front of a full packed house. And okay, yeah, I have anxiety. It's really like half the story, because the real story is I'm afraid because I don't want to fuck up.
Yeah. And
just be like, darn it. And
disappoint people.
And then the other side is like, I don't want to, I'm going to tie my worth into this. Right. So if I'm not funny, then I'm going to have that shame. I got that shame hit going on me right as I'm walking into it. And then, I could also be connecting with my past self who was crippled and couldn't step through this. Mm-hmm. And so I could still be mourning for my past self at the same time as well. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I have anxiety, but I have fear, shame, and sadness.
Right, and uncertainty. But uncertainty in and of itself is not necessarily a negative thing. I mean, we're all filled with uncertainty, and that's how life kind of keeps going along. I mean, I think gives us a lot of hope sometimes, not being certain of what's happened next. I mean, if you would have told me January 1st, this is where we would be on our anniversary, shout out to you. Our anniversary was Monday, and it was awesome. Anniversary. Happy first anniversary. You know, I probably would be pretty bummed January and February, you know, but we got to enjoy our January and February much. March kind of hit hard, but here we are making it through.
Happy birthday again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Maybe the next one will be a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
I do hope, listeners, that you maybe take a moment to meditate, even just for 1 minute. It would mean so much to me after this podcast. Just pay attention to your breath and focus on yourself. Maybe find that light, like Tim said. Next week's guest is going to be Kendra Steenerson. Kendra directed me in a play at the Lee Street Theater in Salisbury, North Carolina in January and February of 2019. It was such an amazing experience, and it really was a huge contributor to me switching careers from librarian to performer. So shout out to her. I can't wait to share that interview with you next week. I hope everybody's staying safe out there. Corey, is there anything you wanted to tell our listeners?
No, I'm afraid to say that I won't say the perfect thing right now.
Oh, he's got fear, guys. He's demonstrating fear. That's so meta.
Because when you ask that, like, I know that the answer to this is, like, important to me to get it right and to say how I feel about...
Corey, you should be more like me.
Everyone who's listening.
Do you think I listen to anything I'm saying? I have to hear it on the recordings before I even hear it the first time.
Oh, well, somebody has no fear, huh? I think that then makes you a sociopath or a psychopath. So careful.
Hey, tell him my secrets.
Yeah.
Tell him my secrets.
Oh, no, it's not true. You're not.
Tell him my secrets.
Oh, no.
Okay, this was fun. Thanks for your help, babe.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll talk at you next week. Bye.